so control of his hometown would change from one country to the other, was sentenced to hard labor for being a capitalist enemy of the people. At school, on the frozen tundra along the Barents Sea, my mother showed a remarkable facility for mathematics. In Russia, math is not just a means to an end. It's a glorious art. Suddenly, my mother's family got a little bit of meat and flour in addition to their wrinkled potatoes and onions. Another enemy of the people, a professor of mathematics, was told to tutor my mother 3 times a week. Like many, he never made it back home. My mother, formerly a Pole, then a full-fledged citizen of the glorious USSR due to the Soviet annexation of her hometown after the war, was sent to Moscow for further study in 1945. These were heady times in Russian mathematics, and the most admired mathematician of all was her advisor, the great Kolmogorov. My mother began to publish papers when she was 16. She defected to the West in 1951 after giving a talk in East Berlin. My mother became a tenured professor at the University of Wisconsin at the age of 22. At 28, she was offered a tenured professorship at Princeton, which somehow promised to ignore its rules on nepotism and hire my father as well. She turned them down. Like Kolmogorov and many of his acolytes, she believed that cold weather was required for the creative mind. New Jersey simply was too warm. Plus, according to her, Princeton was a haven for anti-Semites, and she'd already had her fill of that in Russia and Poland. She stayed in Wisconsin. In 1999, after 69 years without a single major health issue, my mother was diagnosed with advanced lung cancer. Her doctor told her to expect to live 3 to 6 months. "Nonsense," she said. "I have a good year of things to do." A year and a half later, she was down to 85 pounds. As I walked out of Yakov's office, I got the call on my cell phone. "I'm going to die today," she said. "I'm in Nebraska. I have a talk at 3. "Forget the talk." I asked Yakov to give me a ride to the Lincoln airport. There was a rumor that my mother was working on a solution to a heretofore unsolved, century-old, vexing mathematical problem that she was cheating death to finish. I didn't know how this rumor started. It couldn't possibly have been true. But every mathematician I had talked to for the last 2 years, including Yakov, had mentioned it. I could sense the excitement in their voices. A once-in-a-century problem finally solved. The worldwide mathematical community would be in a rare upbeat mood, maybe even completely euphoric, for a year, at least.
"She must have finished today," Yakov said about the rumored proof. "A remarkable woman."
My mother lived alone. 15 years earlier, she had come home for lunch, found my father screwing an undergraduate on the leather couch, and threw him out. She called me on the phone at the time. If she possessed any sense of loss or grief, it wasn't present in her voice. "He was fucking someone on my furniture, and she wasn't even that good-looking," she said. My father's side of the story was a bit different. They never formally divorced. Such legalities were either beneath them or beyond them. On the day of my own wedding, my father looked more bewildered than anything else. My mother cried. The closest I could get to Madison, on quick notice, was Chicago, a town that is physiographically as dreadfully boring as Lincoln, but makes up for it by housing several million more people. When you grow up in the Midwest, every mound and depression become a cause for celebration. The long winters and tedium of the landscape can lead you to drink a ridiculous amount of alcohol. On that front, my family fit right in. I rented a boxy American sedan and headed out on the interstate, where I got another call.
"Where are you?"
"On the border."
"Drive faster."
"I'm going 95, Mother."
"I didn't ask how fast you were driving. Drive faster."
"Who's with you?"
"No one."
"I thought Cynthia was with you."
"She left. She couldn't stand the stress. I went to the bathroom. I was shitting blood. She walked out."
"She walked out?"
"Yes, she walked out. What was I supposed to do, bring her back in the house? I didn't want that painted doll around anyway."
"I'll drive faster."
"That's what I told you."
Once during a chemotherapy session, my mother had said that if I didn't speak to my father after she died,